Next up on the Affinitiv Vision stage, we are going to learn about how to use AI to optimize for sales and service. Joining me today is Tom Kerr, president of Affinitiv Advertising, with our special guest, Christine Haymann, regional marketing director for Morgan Auto Group.
Well, Christine, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Tom.
Absolutely. Nobody quite understands the inner workings of what we do when it comes to advancements in AI, of SEO and stuff, like Christine. You know, Christine's been at the forefront of our changes and our growth that we're tackling and dealing with AI when it comes to search optimization. So let's start with this. So what we're seeing is with AI generated overviews, we see a significant drop in website traffic through organic channels. Click-through rates are down. So from your perspective at the dealership, are you seeing a shift in lead volume? Have you noticed a change in lead quality or close rates on consumer behavior?
Absolutely. So I think it kind of mirrors what we saw, I think 4 to 5 years ago, where people stopped doing less dealership visits. Now people are doing less website visits, and they're a more low funnel shopper, and they're going directly to the dealership that they know they want to buy from to fill out the form. So for me, what I see is it's a higher quality lead, because at that point, they're very committed to buying from the dealership. But in terms of leads, sometimes it's less, but the form fills are better quality. Yep. And if you don't get each channel optimized to be stronger quality, like what you guys have done with Facebook, you guys have made Facebook a really quality lead source now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, as we see here, this is what we're seeing. Clicks are down, click-through rates are down, but conversions are going up. So from our perspective, we're seeing that when a customer does see the dealership in the AI overview, now they're going directly to the dealership. And the ones that aren't really ready to make that move, they stop. And then they might come back later. So that's where we've really seen that organic traffic. And, you perfectly stated is that exact situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, next, let's talk about AI overview and people AI traffic behavior. We're seeing them behave differently. The lower volume with higher conversions. Is that showing? Are you seeing that in real sales or at the dealership? How is it changing? Are you changing the way that you prioritize leads or any operational changes?
You're dealing with a much more informed shopper now, because anybody can go into AI. I did this the other day just to see if it could be done. And I said, here are my Kia stores in the greater Tampa area: Kia, Wesley Chapel, Century Kia, and Courtesy Kia. Show me who has the best offers. So you go do that, and it breaks it all down for you. So you know exactly what you're dealing with. So yes, AI is changing their behaviors, their level of information, and you've got to speak to this customer differently, knowing that they have all the answers at their fingertips. What I'm also seeing a lot more of, and we kind of see this in our urban science reporting, is sometimes they're submitting a lead to us just to kind of cross-shop and see what we're going to give them versus a competitor. When we see those defections, a lot of them are on brand, and you know that it's a cross-shop.
Got it.
Yeah, so, I'm seeing a lot of that too.
So let's talk about this a little bit more.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to happen to the future and the process of automotive advertising, and how the consumer has to respond? Like, what are we going to need to do differently in our communication? And
it's going to have to be a lot of things. I think first and foremost, especially with the AI overviews, your reviews have to be rock solid. If you don't have good reviews, it's going to be tough. And I have a situation right now, not to go on a tangent, with a dealership, my Honda dealership in one of my markets, where there was a leader in place beforehand that didn't generate good reviews. And now I've got a leader who does generate good reviews. But he's haunted by the AI overview picking up from the past, right? So I think it's a two-pronged thing. I think, one, you've got to focus more than ever on your reviews and your quality score as a dealer, but your offers have to be driven. It's going to be an offer-driven environment. Not just in your paid search, but you're going to need those offers to pull through in the AI overviews because, again, that's where they're starting their buying process. It used to just be lease a new Kia near me or lease a new Kia K5 near me. That's not going to be how they search anymore. It's going to turn into what's the best place for me to lease a new Kia at in Tampa, Florida.
You're absolutely right, and that content has to be built in order to really understand it. So that's really observant of what the situation is going to be. So next, let's talk about just the zero-click searches. So as zero-click searches have become more common, and AI are delivering more, just like we've been talking about, it's delivering more answers before you go to the website. And this goes back to the customer having more knowledge. Do customers seem more confident in the choices? Are they asking fewer introductory questions? And what do you expect, and how do you expect your team to pick up and get them further down the funnel?
I think the team has to pick up and get them further down the funnel by reacting immediately and making sure that they book the appointment. A lot of the conversations that I have with my stores that are struggling, it's not a lead volume issue, it's a lead conversion issue. You have to book the appointment, you have to get the customer in because, like we said, they're doing these searches and they have all the options in front of them. And if you don't book that appointment and get the customer in your showroom, they'll deflect somewhere else. If the offers and everything else we discussed is in line and you're pretty similar to your competition, it's easier, in my opinion now, it's easier than ever to lose a customer and they have less loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it goes back, a lot of this goes back to your review statement. It's the reviews are just become so powerful in the AI overviews that, I don't think everybody really understands how powerful or if you win or lose your customer before a click is even happening.
Exactly. And that's what's resulting in those zero-click searches, right? Because a lot of times with these AI overviews, they're not looking to click through somewhere. They're doing their research.
Absolutely, yeah. In most cases, there's not even a link in the AI overview for a customer to click on. And again, it goes back to why we're seeing such a decrease in our organic traffic.
Right, but you're seeing an increase in your direct in a lot of places. At least I've seen that with my dealership.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Your dealership shows up in the AI overview. Now they open a new tab, type in the dealership's name directly, and now they're there. So, and that's it. It's kind of crazy that right now we have to win in a world where we don't even know what the customer is actually doing in that zero-click moment.
Right, and you don't know what their intent is or what. What'll be interesting to me, if you think about it, VLAs really changed paid search, right? We're so much, in my opinion, less reliant on paid search because of the performance and the conversion rates of VLAs. If they start monetizing these AI overviews and making us sponsored results, what does that do to the whole landscape?
Yeah, well, we know these providers are going to figure out a way to monetize
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, all right, moving on. So, you work with us in a number of stores. As from the agency perspective, we're seeing the informational content. That's losing. Your model research pages, things like that. But engagement's not disappearing; it's just shifted. From the dealership side, where do you still see a strong shopping engagement? Are they interacting with more pricing, inventory, service scheduling? Is there anything else in high intent that you're seeing high engagement with from a consumer perspective?
It's all pricing. If I look, I'll often see, a lot of our dealerships utilize the Run My Lease tool, which my COO will tell you is a great tool with a name that makes no sense for the tool itself because you unlock an additional discount. We then see that those customers will go through Trade Pending's auto APR and then try and build their payment. So they're trying to see what their discount is. They're trying to build a payment. I was looking at, we built out our CDP And I was looking the other day at what percentage of our third-party leads are actually hitting our CRM. Only 30% of the leads in general that we're getting from third parties, it's the first time that they're submitting a lead to us. That other 70% has come through other channels. So I think that what they're doing is trying to go through more than one channel to see if the outcome is different.
Interesting. So you're getting, you might get a lead from somebody that has already come through on an endemic site, but or they come back through from an endemic
Right.
site, double checking, maybe even on the same vehicle? Okay.
We're seeing, because we noticed that last week when we were talking about CDP audiences that we could build, and it's the amount of people that are hitting us through multiple leads
Interesting.
as an audience that we haven't created yet.
Oh, a multiple lead audience. That's a
Yeah.
good one. And then, and you're seeing that at about 30%.
With the third parties, yeah.
That's a pretty big
Because
number.
you can see in their dashboard how many people have submitted leads, and then we see how many of those actually hit our CRM.
You know, and it'll be interesting, especially if they go the other way. You know, the lead came from the third party and then they come to the site. I would reckon a lot of that's direct traffic.
Yes. So again, the direct traffic is going up.
Yep. So, all right, moving on. So, how does this change with the whole AI setup? How does this change the way that you're evaluating marketing performance compared to what we used to measure at the agency? Meaning, you know, we used to look at pure organic traffic.
Yeah.
And that is obviously taking it on the chin. So, what are you looking at more frequently from your organic?
I would say you can't look at organic the way you used to. You know, you used to build out organic and say, look at it over a 90-day time frame, right? You really can't anymore because the AI is eating up so much of that. What I look at is conversion rates. Form fills, ASC form submission, sales, ASC com submission, sales. That's what you have to look at, is those conversion rates when you're evaluating your traffic and evaluating the job that your marketing company is doing. It's how many of those customers are converting, because if the more conversions I get, the more I know I'm in front of the right people in some way or another.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, all your agency partners can do is deliver more quality leads.
Right, and put us in front of the right people with the right message.
Yep, and really, there's no. It's you know, that's part of what I love about advertising is it still requires that human element, and you know, I think that's what that's why I pride ourselves on at Affinitiv, is that we still have so much that human involvement as opposed to just letting software set it and forget it on our digital marketing.
Your team is not a set it and forget it team. Your team is excellent at getting into the weeds with us and helping us navigate campaigns, move money around, figure out when something's not working. You and I know the stores that we have that constantly are pushing us on lead volume, right?
Yes. Yep.
And we always work with your team to figure out what we can do and how we can kind of customize it to their needs that month.
Absolutely, yeah. I just the amount of human collaboration that we have, I think, is a big reason why Morgan Automotive Group has been so successful. Is having support from regional marketing directors like you. I think that the way that we can objectively look at every individual situation, and I know every single dealer says, "Well, my situation's different," and we kind of like, I used to, okay, yeah, but it is.
It is.
Almost every single, you have different people, you have different processes, you have different geolocations. You know, it really is, every single situation is unique, and there's no set it and forget it situation that's going to solve it, especially in AI SEO.
Right. Because, if you think about it, I always give people these two examples of stores, and they're stores that you and your team both work on. I have a Kia store in Lake City, Florida, and I have a Porsche store in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
You cannot get more different than those two stores. So we have a different approach at Porsche than we do at Kia, than we do at Ford, than we do at Chevy. And I think you're going to have to treat it the same way with the AI overviews. Everything's going to be different.
Yeah. So, um, this wasn't really something that I had prepared, but I'd like to get your perspective on some of the things that you're starting to see from us, because I feel that one of the areas is just building content now is
Correct.
completely different. You know, what do you feel about the benefits of some of the tools or that's helping us make AI overview content, or what we're calling is AI optimization? You know, I don't see where there's an ability for somebody to just think of the content. You know, so what do you think it takes in order to identify it? You know, the tools and, you know,
Well, I think your team is kind of hitting the nail on the head right now, right? Like they're the ones who brought the review thing to me initially. And I think that right now you have to build content in a way that speaks to the AI, more or less. You know, right before this, I met with one of our website partners, and they're talking about how they're going to have an option to basically redesign the back end of their website to speak better to the AIO. So I think for you and your team, what you're doing is you're figuring out what the AI is picking up, and then we're building content on that.
absolutely.
And that's the tool there is I guess is like the human. It's almost like when you meld the AI and the human together, that's when you get the best result. Because the AI is never going to have that human touch to it, but if you almost use it as like kind of a starting point, and then you put the human interaction in, that's where you get the best result.
I agree completely. So use the AI tools to help us determine what content should be made, but then using the human element to make the content, so that way then we don't fall into the other Google trap of duplicate content.
Right, because if you go too heavy AI, Google picks up on it. So you
Exactly.
still have to have the human element.
Absolutely. And then every piece has to be unique.
Correct.
So, well, that brings me to the end of what I was gonna cover today. Anything else you want to tell people on what to look out for in diving into AI optimization, or any recommendations for where to start?
I think I kind of hit it on the head. It's the reviews, it's your offers, and you know what I recommend to my dealers is search yourself, put yourself into AI, ask where's the best Honda dealer near, whatever area you're going after. Where's the best place to buy a Kia? Who has the best offers? Knowledge is power, right?
Yep.
With how many dealerships we have and how many dealerships you work with on our, the Morgan side with, we can't know every single day what everybody's dealership looks like. So my biggest thing would be dealers have to be proactive in searching and seeing, and then they can send it to us, and then we can help them from there. But knowledge is power with this.
Yep. So, and my recommendation in closing is, where to start. Well, the first thing you need to do is understand what is your visibility score.
Yeah.
How visible are you to start, and then understand how to increase it, and use tools, and then create the right content. Back to your point, make sure that all your offers are as good as possible, and reviews.
Right. And again, don't focus on the organic. Don't focus on website users. Those metrics, while they used to be things we really paid attention to, they're not as relevant now.
Yep.
So start focusing on the metrics of today and kind of transition away from the ones of yesterday.
And we know what that is. Conversions.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, Christine, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
with
for
me
having me,
today.
Tom.
I really appreciate your time, and
Appreciate
I
it.
wish you the best show, and have a good time.
You
so,
too.
thank you. And so, I'm Tom Kerr for Affinitiv, and we appreciate you all for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.